right, Stink. Mark Schlereth is joining us. You were on the hang with me before.
Yes, I was.
But this is your first time on the podcast.
Yes.
So this is different than the hang.
Yes, this is different. Well, I have a co-host, Brandon.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Right.
Brandon, you weren't on the hang with us?
I was off the scene.
We were hanging in the cafeteria lounge outside area. So I thought it was all we've hung before.
We've hung with Stink before.
Yes.
Okay,
we've had a hang.
But we weren't on the hang together.
Right, yes.
All right.
So
now maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah, so this is different.
Right.
This is maybe I'm
Okay.
crazy. So we were talking before we started recording, so we're just going to pick up there about Stinky Pants, because I have just recently discovered Hot Cheetos and Takis, which, if you don't know this song...
Throwback week today for Joy Taylor.
This is the first time I've ever heard it, but at one point... They say, hey, where are them Cheetos at?
I'm hungry.
And I was like, look, they're black, white, red, yellow, doesn't matter. Everybody's asked that question before. Where's them Cheetos at? Like,
everybody speaks
dude,
Cheetos.
Like, right? I'm hungover.
Yeah.
Where them Cheetos at?
Yes.
Man? Right? We've all had that
I need that
conversation
type of
before.
cheese.
In these divisive times, Cheetos may be the thing that brings us all
Yes.
together, but not
Amen.
Hot Cheetos, because
Yes.
they're talking about Hot Cheetos and Takis. Shout out to Bella. She loves Takis. She put me on Takis. I can't. My stomach's not built like that for the hot chips. Hot food I can handle, but not the hot chips.
We tried to do the one chip challenge, and you said you would be out for the rest of the
and my hot Cheeto
week.
experience, which I think I shared a couple weeks ago on the podcast.
Yes.
A hot Cheetos are not for me. They just go like literally right through.
Like water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, quicker than water.
Yeah.
And more pricey. But I was saying that was a bad experience, so I no longer eat hot Cheetos.
Right.
But then Stink weighed in with the line that you are the
Jason Bourne crap my pants.
Yeah.
Like I know where a bathroom is at all. Like I got this speaking engagement downtown Denver, and I kid you not, I'm rolling through, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, and I'm like, uh-oh.
That's how it happens. Yeah.
Right. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I pull in this coffee shop, and dude, I was so freaking cool. Like I walk in this coffee shop, they're like, "Oh, Stink!" I'm saying, "Hey, give me a latte. Wait, I'm just gonna use the restroom real quick." I walk in the restroom, right?
I had no idea.
I threw my underpants away, cleaned myself up. I came right back out, slipped $5 on the counter, grabbed a latte, drove back. This speaking engagement, go commando, straight commando.
Oh man!
Like you get to my age, you know what you do? You end up packing. Like when I pack. I'm here for 5 days, right?
Yeah.
Doing TV shows.
Yeah.
I got 7 pair of underpants just in case. Like I just expect at some point, that something's going to go wrong. Like
you're not coming home with all 7.
No, it doesn't go wrong all the time.
Right.
But eventually something's going to go wrong. So you better pack a couple of extra.
You're being
packs.
responsible.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what you do.
Would you ever do the transition to the full old people diapers?
Yeah.
Depends.
Yeah. I would. I mean, I
Tony
thought
Sergio.
about doing it while I'm calling games on Fox. Be like.
So
How much time we got? It doesn't matter. I'm good. I went last quarter. I'm like, I'm all right. Things are good here.
Yeah, just the soil. I mean, it's just as you get older, different like things in your body change, and I think also just when like the amount of supplements that you've taken, things like that, or have you always had tummy issues? Because some guys just have tummy issues.
No, I don't have any. My stomach is fine. I'm ironclad. I'm good.
Well, you got the nickname Stink from
Pissing my pants, not from.
Right, which we'll get to in 1 second after Brandon tells us how he peed himself this week.
I did not. That was not on the record. I may or may not. When you talk about getting older, right?
Yeah.
And I'm 28 now. It was the first time I had the experience of like, oh, I really can't hold it anymore. I'm at my apartment going up to the elevator, like going up to my apartment. I was like, oh yeah, it's like my calves are warm now. Like I am full on peeing on myself.
In the elevator?
I couldn't. Like, what are you going to do?
Brandon,
what are you going to do?
Boy, you can pee anywhere you want. It's the best thing about being a guy.
I'm blessed enough to have a security guard in my apartment. I can't have Alex catching me peeing in the bushes. He's going to tell somebody.
I mean, explain to Alex it's an emergency.
Yeah, that's fair. I pee myself. We can let that.
Do you know one thing more that I've noticed just in general, and this has nothing to do with age. Do you notice that your body knows, like when you really have to go?
Oh, man.
It knows when you're close to the toilet. Yes. Like it automatically, like
it starts like
right. It's like
pulling.
Like, wait a minute, I feel like
Emergencies.
brain, body work together. We've got a few more steps to get there.
Like,
You try to trick yourself and think like there's not a toilet right there. It's like,
right?
oh,
No, but
is.
your butt has ESP. It does. It just knows. It's like it. Whoop.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an issue not peeing yourself, like on the field?
Where I didn't pee myself?
No, I mean, like, obviously you got the nickname Stink from consistently.
Actually, I got it from rotten fish heads in Alaska.
Right.
But it stuck with me because I used to urinate in my pants all the time on the bench.
Right.
And then it just became a thing. Like, why would I hold it?
I love football so much.
Once you pee once on the bench and you're like,
right, it's very similar to peeing in the pool. Once you've peed in the pool, you're just like, guys,
similar.
listen,
No,
I'm peeing
totally
in the pool.
different.
If you're in a pool with me ever, just assume I peed in the pool.
No.
Yes.
You can't say that. That is not okay.
It is okay.
You peeing in pools.
I pee in almost every pool I've ever been in.
Is it like are you like a dog? You're gonna mark your territory? Like
this is insane.
This be
when
my
you
pool.
pee in pools, you're not. It's just
No, I mean, like, if I'm just taking a little dip, then I'm not gonna pee. But like, if I'm in a pool all day and I'm drinking, I'm gonna get out and go put the listen.
Yes.
Women don't just relieve themselves. We have to use toilet paper. Get stuck on your butt. It's awful. I'm just gonna pee in the pool.
Joy, that's not okay.
It's perfectly okay. People do it all the time. Do you pee in pools?
No.
All right. Well, I pee in pools.
Nobody did. You've talked yourself into it.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Children, yes. You know, that's
yeah,
why
me and the kids. What's the difference between me and a kid? If you're in a, if
the kid has a swim diaper on. If you have a swim diaper on, then you get.
Swim diaper is holding in all the pee.
You're damn skippy it is.
All the
it's
peas
scientifically
and the scientifically designed device that keeps all the pee in.
Yes, all the pee's locked in.
Diapers don't even keep all the pee in out of the pool. Why would it keep it in the pool? Makes no sense.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
All right, look.
I talk to you for a living.
Let me put it to you this way, okay? If you're in a pool with a kid, you are assuming you're swimming in kiddie pee. We all know that, right?
I mean.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the kids.
I don't want to say yes. Because I don't want to, you know what I mean?
Well, I swim with my granddaughters, and I figure there's a certain amount of urine in the.
Of course.
Right,
okay, so what's the difference? What is the difference?
But urine's sterile, so that to me, it's not that big a deal.
So now it's not a big deal because urine's sterile.
Did you ever pee on guys in the shower? I call that the golden shower. Did you ever do that?
I'm not going to admit to that, but I have seen this activity.
Okay. So this is what you do.
This is very popular in football locker rooms.
This is what you do.
Popular.
What?
You walk up, right? You're all soaped up. You're butt naked. You got a bar of soap in your hand. And I used to go to the rookies and ask them to wash my back. I'd handle the soap. Go wash my back. And they'd be like, butt naked in the shower, like, right? Or like, you know. I go, no, get my back. You know, and I never actually got anybody to wash my back. But there's a couple guys that thought about it. They were like, what?
They all declined?
Yeah, but they were like very nervous about it. But the greatest trick in the world.
To have someone to wash your back.
You're standing in the shower, the water's warm, you know, it's washing down your body, and you walk up to a dude and you'd be like, dude, on that, on that 14 handoff we were running, right?
Right.
And, you know, the middle linebacker came over the top, and I was wondering what it. And while you're doing it, you're standing right next to him, and your eye contact, because you don't want to look down at each other's junk, right?
Right.
So your eye contact, and the whole time you're just peeing on his legs.
Why?
Because it's fun, and everybody sees it, and everybody sees that you're peeing on him, and then eventually he's like, "Oh Lord," you know, and then everybody laughs, and it's a good time, and then you know that you're going to get peed on eventually, and the next thing you know, you're all going to be making out in the shower. Or no, that doesn't happen. The making out thing does not happen. That doesn't happen.
It's a general transition. Look, I'm not in a position to judge because apparently I'm disgusting for peeing in pools. But so do you pee in the ocean?
Oh yeah, pee in the ocean all the time.
Yeah,
fish pee in the ocean.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
it's part of the
whales are way bigger than me, and they have to pee in the ocean.
They definitely pee in the ocean.
Yeah,
that's
all
part
right.
of
So smooth transition. The Browns, I think.
I'm so mad.
Is that really on there, or did you just come up with that? No. That's actually really good.
So we love Baker Mayfield around here.
Yeah,
and I think Baker should be starting. And I've been campaigning for this for, I don't know, since he got drafted number one overall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, since he went number one overall, I just assumed the number one overall pick would be starting at any position because it's the first pick in the draft. Yeah. So Colin disagrees, as do many, but I just think the Browns are have been such a dysfunctional organization.
Right.
And being on Hard Knocks, you know, you're seeing the Todd Haley talking, like basically arguing with Hugh Jackson about guys working out more in training camp. You've got Greg Williams calling players stupid. I mean, it's basic Brown stuff that we all assume goes on, but like you're kind of rooting for the culture change. Do you think that he should be starting over Tyrod? Is that what we're calling him now?
He went back to Tyrod, didn't he?
No, I feel like you can call him whatever you want.
I want to respect. I want to respect the man's name.
I want to respect his. He said his mom calls him Tarad.
Tarad.
But he also says his mom doesn't call him Tarad. Calls him a little nickname. But Tarad is his name.
All right. So
he said, I think he said Brett Musburger like made it popular as Tyrod. What's Tarad?
Oh well.
I think we call him whatever we want.
I'm gonna leave that one alone. So, what do you think?
I think it's an interesting question because it's not just about Baker Mayfield. It's about his development. I'm with you. You know, when one of the concerns I had going into this thing was you come out of a spread system, very hard to transition into an actual NFL system. Mm-hmm. And I think he was under center 4 times total in his college career. And you're like, the thing you have to understand about that and why it's hard is that the routes and route combinations time up with the drops that you have. So a 3-step drop, you know, you're running a drag slant combination, or you're running double lions combination, or whatever your combination is, it times up to the depth of your drop. So 3-step, 5-step, it's all a timing thing. And guys have a problem figuring out the footwork and the timing of the drop. You know, 1 minute you're opening up, 1 minute you're reverse pivot out on a fake handoff, and all that stuff times up to the routes, the route combinations, and when the ball's supposed to be out of your hand. So there's a lot to it. And watching him on film, it's like he's been under center his whole career. Like he hasn't missed a beat. So like this kid is what he was advertised to be, and maybe even better than he was advertised to be. Here's the issue that you get into, though. They're 1-31 in the last 2 seasons, and Hugh Jackson knows he's got to win games to save his job. And so, you know, we always have this philosophy in the NFL that young guys will eventually get you fired. So he's going to play at some point. But let's see if we can get off to a hot start. Let's practice hard. Let's work hard. The thing about the NFL now is there's so many teams that use the first 4 weeks of the season as essentially their preseason. So if we can come out, and it's funny, I talked to Jacksonville when I called their game last year, and Doug Marrone was like, we practiced harder than anybody else in the National Football League. We crushed it simply because we have a chance to come out and start hot, right? And pummel teams early physically because they're a physical football team, but physically pummel teams early and get off to a hot start because so many teams don't practice that way. So many teams are literally not ready to play week 1 when they come out of the preseason. And so, like, you have a chance to sneak some people, so to speak. And that's why, to me, you're going to start Tarad. He's a Pro Bowl quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's a good player. But you're trying to save your job at the same time as you're trying to essentially groom and develop a young player.
Yeah, I mean I agree with you. That he's going with Tarad for the job saving thing. I think you don't get better at doing something by watching other people do it. But I think we all know Tarad is going to end up starting. The other hot take that I love this week from the Browns is that stretching is not something that they did in World War II. Did you see that?
Right, I did see that with what's it, Bob Wiley, their offensive line coach.
I like that take. Offensive line coaches are the best.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, all the best every time.
Man, what do you make of something like that? Like, do you have a lot of experiences like that with coaches, like old school guys, or like, what's this ice?
Yeah, absolutely. Tape an aspirin on that, you son of a, you know.
Yeah, it's the best though.
Right? Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
That was the most stereotypical, like, conversation from an offensive line coach that I've maybe ever heard, except for the time that the Dolphins offensive line coach did that thing that happens in Miami sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. The what?
Big grains falling.
Oh my God!
Yeah, big grains.
Just amazing. Anyway, yeah. So what's the worst thing a coach has put you through? Because obviously he doesn't believe in stretching.
Okay, so coaches somehow feel like they're almost scientists and they have no, like,
right? Except
they're
not.
They're a bunch of PE majors, you know. That I mean, honestly, right? And they act like so. Right. So when I first got to Denver, I left Washington. I got to Denver, and Alex Gibbs was my offensive line coach, and he's legendary. I mean, I love Alex Gibbs. There's 2 types of players that played for Alex Gibbs. He's the best coach you've ever played for, or he's the worst coach you've ever played for. There is no in between. You can either handle him or you can't handle him. So the very first meeting that I was ever a part of, 2 things happened in that meeting. One, he said, nobody's going to work harder than us as a group. I've got your back. Nobody's going to outwork me. Like, we're in this thing together. Like, we're going to be great together. But if it comes between you and the team, I will screw you. And he used the F word, but he said,
we can say the F word around here.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
He goes, if it comes between you and the team, you'll get f***ed. He goes, that's just the way it is. The team is the most important thing. That's where he was. And I was like, I respect that.
Yeah.
Like, I totally respect that. Like, it's out in the open. The other thing he did was he assigned weights. Now, here's a guy. He's got no, nutritional background, education, no nothing.
I could already see where this is
going.
Going.
And he'd be like, then he'd call everybody like either by your name or by your number. Mm-hmm. Ooh, 69. 292. Seems too heavy. I sign you 288. That's your new weight. And then he just went around the room like that. He'd be like, 317 over there. No. 306. And then he just went through the whole room and assigned guys that he's never met new weights. And then for 6 years,
without them seeing how they play it, the weight,
right? No, it's the first time we ever met. First mini camp meeting.
And you get fined if you don't make weight.
I had to be, when I played in Denver, I couldn't be less than 284 and I couldn't be more than 288.
Okay.
And I had to, every Thursday I weighed in and I had to be in that window.
And what was your normal weight?
I always hung around 87, 86,
okay, so
87.
you had to lose weight generally.
Generally, because as the season rolls on, it's hard to keep it on. Like I had a tough time keeping on the weight.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of times, you're weighing in with a 5-pound weight in your jock, or you're drinking a bunch of water.
Yeah, no. I've heard horror stories about guys having to eat, just even coming into camp having to make weight, eating just an insane,
right.
10 hoagies or something, and then just puking it all up.
And then you got guys
ridiculous,
right? You got guys that come in they're always rolling in at the first meeting, like special teams meetings at 7. They're always rolling in at 6:59 with a burger or whatever. And then on Thursdays they're in a sauna suit, busting their ass on a treadmill, right? You walk in at 5 and they're in
ridiculous.
there, right? Just to get down for Dwayne Carswell. Every Thursday you could count our tight end Dwayne Carswell. It'd be in there in a sauna suit, just sweating his ass off. And you're like, dude, maybe don't come in on Wednesday with an egg and muffin. Right?
Or less of them.
Right, yeah.
They're so good, though. But, well, we got to let you go, Stink. Thanks so much for all the bodily fluids talk.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's always interesting.
We'll get more football talk
if this is what this podcast is, I'm your number one guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
For number ones and twos.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Well, we appreciate it. We'll have you on again. Thanks so much, Stink.
All right.
Thanks.